guys, what's up? I'm Ashley Jenkins, and New York City is still here. It hasn't been destroyed by aliens or zombies or anything. So basically, movies lie. But it also means we can continue to bring you the news from PlayStation 4's launch event. To kick off, Sony's revealed details for their Music Unlimited streaming subscription service for PS4. It turns out that you'll be able to stream music in the background while you're playing games if you want, but it does play in the background of the entire game. So if you don't want it clashing with the game's ambient tunes, it's up to you to adjust that in the settings for each individual game. The subscription will range from $4.99 to $9.99 depending on how many devices you want to use. And Sony insists this service is not linked to the lack of MP3 or audio CD support on the console. Sony's Anu Kirk expands, "I can see how people could see it as some kind of diabolical plot, but that's not how we roll. Our brief here at Music Unlimited was just to make the best music app available for the PS4. In case you want to compare, Microsoft's streaming service for Xbox One will offer a 15-song free trial, after which you'll need a $9.99 monthly subscription, which you can also use on Windows 8 or on their streaming music site, which functions independent of whichever platform you're on. Moving on to games, Monolith has also announced that they're working on a new title set in the Lord of the Rings universe, called Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Unlike their Guardians of Middle-earth MOBA last year, this will be a third-person action game with an original story. You'll play as a ranger named Talion who travels into Mordor just before it becomes the wasteland as we know it in the Lord of the Rings series, gets a bit dead, and comes back with wraith abilities and a taste for revenge. In Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, players will explore the dark and very personal theme of vengeance in a world where decisions have a consequence, and those consequences persist even after death, explains Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment's Samantha Ryan. The game will also use what they call the Nemesis system, in which enemies will remember the decisions that you make throughout the game to shape special arch-enemies who know how to hold a serious grudge. Also, Ubisoft has announced that Rayman Legends will be coming to Xbox One and PlayStation 4 in February next year. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot announced the move to next-gen in an investor call earlier today, where he also explained the game's so far underwhelming sales of about 1 million as a side effect of the transition to the next-gen platforms. He says the PS4 and Xbox One will be released in a few days' time and will be a new driving force for the industry. We are confident in our capacity to rise to the short-term challenges posed by the transition phase thanks to the very high quality of our games. Finally, someone who's not terribly excited about either impending console launch is Oculus Rift creator Palmer Luckey, who believes that both platforms are too limited to do much with from a virtual reality standpoint. He cites the standardized hardware, which will now be static until the next evolution, as too weak for the insanely high needs of VR, which requires high-resolution rendering in 3D at 60+ frames per second. The problem with consoles in general is that once they come out, they're locked to a certain spec for a long time. Look at the PCs that existed 8 years ago. There have been so many huge advances since then, he says. As a result, expect Oculus Rift to focus mostly on PC for the foreseeable future. And that's the news today. Do you think consoles are missing out if they don't have Oculus Rift support? And are you looking forward to seeing through a new set of eyes in the Lord of the Rings universe? Let us know what you think of today's news in the comments below. Then check out roosterteeth.com, where we'll break down all of this next-gen news in our gaming podcast, The Patch, which streams live for sponsors tomorrow.